Welcome to Guided Spirit Conversations. I'm your host, Marla Goldberg. This podcast has been created with you in mind to acquaint you with some of the most incredible metaphysicians and spiritual leaders from around the globe who have helped others change their lives. In this interactive hour, you will be offered insights and techniques to help you make a difference in your life. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite listening platform. And here we go, on to the show. Hello. Oh, this is so weird. Hello. How are you doing today? I'm Marla Goldberg. I'm your creator and host of Guided Spirit Conversations podcast. And today I have a dear friend of mine, Sheri Jewel. She has graciously agreed to come on the show today. And the conversation we're going to have is about talking about the life. I'm going to screw this up. The day in the life of a medium. So we're going to talk about mediumship and what it's like to be one and what you experience as one. Before we get Sheri on to say hello, I do want to just remind you all to please send prayers, love, support to those in Ukraine. I know it's part of our charity shout out, but above and beyond that, I want to start the show because they have shown such resilience and such strength and such amazing fortitude, holding their ground, that they could just use whatever you can hand out, whether it's energetically or monetarily, they can use it. Sheri Jewel, welcome aboard. How are you today?
Hi, Marla. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I love always having you. I love having you on here always. So obviously I'm having dyslexic conversations today because I'm screwing up my words.
Get some coffee.
I think that might be the problem.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good. So the day in the life of a psychic medium or medium. All right, Sheri, I know that you've had some pretty interesting experiences. I've had some not quite like yours, but we can talk about our experiences together and share what happened. So a day in the life, what does your average day look like? And I know this is all subjective to different mediums, but we're talking to you.
Yes.
So,
first off, I do lead a normal life. Okay. Like for instance, though, what's really funny is this just started. A lot of times when, spirit comes around, my right ear hums, my crown can tingle. So right now when you were talking, my ear started humming. So that to me means someone's like, trying to.
Someone's knocking on the door.
Yeah. So I could just be sitting on my couch watching TV, playing with my dog, and, my ear hums, or I actually feel spirit physically because I'm also a really strong empath. So I will actually feel them standing next to me even, or I make it really hot or get the chills. So there's always somebody with me. And
there's somebody over your left shoulder right now.
Is there? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see me. When I'm not working, that's again what we were talking about. Just because my ear's humming, just because my crown's tingling, does not mean that I have to engage and even try to connect,
Right.
So I think that I can choose, or mediums can choose if they want to, tap in or not.
So we're talking about boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So mediums have to have their boundaries fully engaged, or else what? Then, spirits can run rampant over you. Like, remember Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost?
Yes.
When all of a sudden she realized she could hear those from the other side, and they all piled in her healing room,
kind of like that.
Wanting to fight for being up front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that, especially because I do gallery readings, meaning like in front of groups of people. Yeah, and they're in my house for like 2 days before. I'm like, come on, guys, let me sleep, let me get rest. I'll talk to you at the event. So they're like always ready. Like if they know like I'm gonna have a reading, like I have one later today, they'll pop in the minute I wake up in the morning. Or if I'm doing an event or a stage event or whatever, they're already ready to go 24 to 48 hours before. Yeah. And my way of doing a boundary is I'm like, guys, leave me alone. I need to clean my house, take a shower. I'll talk to you that day. Come back then.
Have you heard of Rosemary Altea?
No.
So Rosemary has written some amazing books. I absolutely love her. I've read her like over a decade ago. And when in her book, it said that she her guide came to her as she was taking a bath, and he was a Scottish guy in a kilt, if I remember this correctly. And here she is, naked as a jaybird,
they always
in
get
her
me
tub.
naked every time. No, that is true. I don't know what the naked thing is about, but that's happened to me quite a few times, even with Archangel Michael. I'm like, come on. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but my bedroom is definitely should be like, I believe, our bedroom should be more sacred, because if you want to shower, you
Yes.
need sleep, you need uninterrupted sleep. Um, and I do always say, like, every time I'm walking up to bed at night, I'm walking up my stairs, I'm like, I kind of scream through my house, that's it, everybody out, it's my time,
Yeah.
my space, out. I'm not going to say it works 100% every time. But really, people, not just mediums, general public that are dabbling in this or have experiences, you set the rules. It's your house, your sacred space. You're the boss. And
Yes.
you have every right to say, get out. If you don't want to play, if you don't want to engage, you set the rules.
Right. So it's funny. I saw this in someone's house, and I had heard this, and I've said this before, which is a sign that said, if you're not a benevolent being, you're
Yeah.
not welcome in my home, and you need to leave now. And I've
I,
said that a number of times.
that's what I always say. I'm like, always like, I'm okay with, like, if my mom or dad or my child I lost are here, my family, my, divine team, I'm fine with that. So I do always say, hey, if you're not my mom or dad or my family, get out now, you know. And sometimes, it should work, but sometimes you have to be a little more, it may take you a few times and be a little stronger with your words.
Let's talk about the boundaries that we need to have as a medium, because it's really important for your well-being, both mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, to have delineated boundaries up to keep spirits at their bay, because they'll take advantage.
Oh, yeah. hmm And again, I think it's intention. I think it's what you make as a medium, you make your own rules. Um, Sometimes, let's say if I was going out, I'm just like, so I'll actually like imagine, how can I explain this? In my head, like I'll close my eyes and I'll imagine like a close sign in my head because spirit connects, telepathically, not just, also physically to me, but, the telepathic message in my head, I'll just close my eyes. And you know how you see in a store an open or close sign? I'm like, you're
Yeah.
closed, don't talk to me. And I'm not going to say when you're out, they may try. And then I can use my discernment or my choice to tap in and give the message or not.
And you do tend to, when you're out socially, to be generous with information.
Yeah, well, it just seems like sometimes I'm in the right, I don't know if it's the right place at the right time, but I do tend to like encounter an individual that needed it. And I can give you I was out with my girlfriend a couple weeks ago and we had dinner and there was a bartender and out of nowhere, I'm like, I always ask first, like, I'm like, sorry, I'm a psychic medium. I have a message for you. Do you want it? He was almost in tears. And then I proceeded to write down some messages for him that were more guidance. And he looked at me, he's like, with tears in his eyes, and he's just a young kid. And he's like, oh my God, thank you so much. You came here today because of me. So sometimes you're answering somebody else's prayer, or maybe a prayer to God saying, please help me, guide me, show me my way. And that kind of happened with that guy. And he was so appreciative. So, you could be in Walgreens, you could be in a bar, restaurant, the hardware store, whatever. But again, as the medium, though, you do have the boundary. I mean, I don't think you should make a habit of just running up to people saying, oh, hi, I'm a medium, I have a message. No, I would never do that. But sometimes that spirit does come in super strong, and I will do it when that spirit really definitely has a strong message to give the person. But I would ask the person first.
And
Plus, I don't
because
want you to think I'm crazy either.
right. And then there are times when messages are urgent. And the way to get through to somebody is through somebody who can see and hear them.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, I'm just going to tell my first quick story of my first spirit that I saw. I was at a restaurant and they were setting up a fundraiser in the back of the place. And this was in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And the waitress said, oh, you should go in the back. They're doing this. And she explained that this young girl was murdered 3 blocks from this restaurant when she was 17. And all of a sudden, I see this energy jumping up and down
Oh,
behind her.
it's
I
me,
had
it's
never
me.
seen an energy doing that before. And she's like, "That's for me. That's for me." And I'm like, "Okay." And she goes, "You need to tell them how happy I am. You need to tell them." And I
Oh,
said, "I'm going to finish my lunch." I said, "When we go in the back, I will tell somebody." So she went away. We finished our meal, went in the back and went into I call it the raffle room where they were having the raffle gifts. And all of a sudden, there she is again, and she's poking me on my shoulder. "Tell her, tell her." And we were talking to a volunteer. And then the poking got harder and more urgent.
yeah, sometimes I don't give up.
They don't give up. And so finally, I found this segue to say that yes, she's so happy that you're doing this for her. She's so excited, and she wanted you to know how much she appreciates it. And
Oh,
my husband went white. His
she's like,
jaw
Marla,
dropped.
shut up.
Exactly. And on our way out, he said, "How could you do that? Nobody knows what you do." So that's part one of the story. And then we leave. Part two of the story is I was doing a metaphysical fair, and this woman came up and said, "Would you please talk to my boyfriend? He needs help, blah, 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 blah." And I looked at him and I'm looking at him and I just heard that it was his daughter that he did the fundraiser for that
Oh,
came through. So at this metaphysical fair, I said, "Your daughter was murdered." And and he looked at me like, "How did you know?" And then I told him the whole story about the restaurant, and tears welled in his eyes. The
yeah.
whole point of the story, though, is that part two was he needed to know that she was around, she was grateful, and
Well,
it
people
was
don't
amazing.
realize, they talk about Reiki or healers and stuff like that. To me, mediumship is a healing modality. And it's even so sacred because you're actually holding, imagine like a parent that lost a child. You're holding, my clients or, whomever's you engage with, heart in your hands. And like when I did the event Saturday, spirit, I mean, I do have a sense of humor, guys. Okay. So spirit will really kind of is funny with me. They'll bring through these like beautiful, I'm very evidential. So I'd be like, yeah, I got a boy here that died in a car accident or something like that. It's really specific. And then the big healing, the messages come in, the client starts crying. But spirit also, I always want, we want to leave somebody else feeling a smile on their face and a little more happy, when you're done.
Yes.
So then spirit, especially at the galleries or the stage events, they'll start telling funny stories to get the person to laugh. So they're crying and laughing at the same time. So it really is a healing modality and you're healing somebody's heart. And you're also proving a medium's job should be proving the existence that spirit is real, it's eternal. And that's where I really feel like the evidential information is so important. Everybody works different, every medium works different, spirit works with everybody different. My journey started out, I just always got names, dates, evidence. Some people might just say, "Oh, your grandma loves cooking and she loves you." So every medium is different. Spirit works with every medium different. Um, but the evidence is so important because, you know, if you don't bring forward something that's so personal to that client and that spirit and their relationship, no healing happens. They're going to be
Right.
like, "Okay, yeah, that was nice, but I still don't believe it. So you
Right.
really like spirit. I always ask for quirky stuff, some weird, strange, funny memory, something that is only specific to that client in that spirit. Because that is the message that zings them and they get that aha moment. They feel it in their heart and the healing begins.
It does. And you're so right. And oh wait, we were getting a message.
Yeah.
Christine Scherer. My son spent 3 tours in Iraq and passed away in 2017. I'm so sorry, Christine. I
Yeah.
have his 2 teenagers living with me. Does he have any advice for me? His name is Benjamin Green. Thank you.
Well, we'll just have to see if he comes in. Um, if not, there's always private readings. Sometimes I may get something, but we don't know yet what's going to happen.
Right. This and in this format, it's a little bit different in
Yeah.
regards to, you know, getting the information because spirits know that this is this inner this
An
interview.
interview. Yeah, it's a business. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to do the best we can, Christine, to get you some information. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for Benjamin to show up,
And hi,
uh,
Buzzy. moments.
I know, Rona Buzz. So when you're doing, like yours is evidential, so that means it brings you evidence of what happened to show how they transition or
Shared
something that
memories.
people wouldn't know otherwise. And now, they're there, for example, oh, you fell down the stairs when you were 15 at a department store, and it's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that nobody would know. But then all of a sudden somebody's in your ear saying that, and you tell the person, and they're like, nobody knew that.
That is the kind of, and I get the really kind of strange stuff. I was talking to someone yesterday and I'm like, oh, your grandma's mentioning the lake house. It could be simple as that. The lake house, July 4th parties at the lake house. Yeah. It's got to be something really personal between the spirit and the client. And that's how spirit works with me. That's all I can say. So to me, the evidence, and I think most mediums would agree with me, the evidential information is critical.
It is. Now, sometimes people go physical because let's talk about a few of the other the ways people, it's not the way you do it, but you do know like there's people that will start taking on the physical attributes of the person
I
who's
do
in
that.
their ear. So you get physical also.
Yeah. And that's kind of a weird feeling. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. One day I was doing I do Zoom gallery parties, kind of, with groups of families or friends or whatever. And one day I'm just talking like I'm talking with you. And all of a sudden I lean back in the chair and I'm putting my arm up and I start snickering and laughing. And the lady's like, oh my God. She goes, that's what my uncle did. He owned a strip club, And so yeah. Or like I can think of another event. It was a gallery event in person before COVID. And my right leg, I was talking to a client there. My right leg was going up and down, and I'm like, I can't feel my leg, and I'm limping, and all this kind of stuff. And then the man that I was reading looked at me. He goes, "Oh my God!" And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "My brother, before he died, was in a hospital, and his right leg kept bouncing up and down, and then he goes, then they cut his leg off."
Oh,
So yeah, so like I said, I'm a really strong empath. So spirit sometimes can communicate, obviously clairvoyantly, clairaudient, all the clairs, but a medium should also pay attention to how their body feels. Because sometimes, spirit will give you information through, for instance, like if your dad came through, I'd be like, oh my God, my chest hurts. Did he have a heart attack? Or sometimes I grab my throat and then I know they were intubated or whatever, they had trouble breathing.
right.
Or I start coughing. So yeah, so they can use the medium's physical body too to make us feel the way they felt.
So that
So
you could share that information.
yeah, so it's not, and people that are learning, I think it's really important for them to realize everyone thinks it's just all mental. It's not. Sure, you got to pay attention. It's like telepathic thoughts. Sometimes, rarely, but usually it's telepathic, but sometimes I have actually heard like you talking to me in my ear, like I hear you.
Right.
But other times you may not hear or see, but you feel and your body feels, so they can communicate the information that way 100%. So I even tell clients, they're like, why doesn't my husband come and visit me? And I'm like, pay attention because everyone expects it to be their voice in the head, So wow.
Right.
I'm like, you just have to have the awareness
Subtle.
of the subtleness. Like you could just be sitting on your couch and all of a sudden you have the goosebumps or a tingle or you get hot or cold. You may feel wind, anything like that. It could feel like a little fly on your face where they just gave you I froze. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see you and hear you. You're moving fine.
Okay, well, I'm looking at myself frozen, which is weird.
Well, keep talking.
Okay. So, yeah. So, for a person out there that lost somebody, have that awareness when you're quiet and pay attention how your body feels also.
And the other thing is I'll put out there and is ask a question or
Mhm.
ask for them to show up in a certain way. So, for example, I heard somebody who asked that they would show up as a blue butterfly or a bluebird,
Mhm.
one or the other. And then all of a sudden, because it was dead of winter, they looked at a picture or painting on the wall, and right there was a blue butterfly.
Well,
And so it doesn't come the way you might think it's going to come either.
that's I think a very good point. So I'm still moving because I'm still frozen on this picture, which is weird.
But we're
Um,
seeing you.
okay. So that is so important to say because people always think it's going to be this huge, huge thing, right? And it could be like, you mentioned the blue butterflies. It could be like you said, the photo, it could be someone's tattoo. It's not always going to be a live flying butterfly. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. By the way, Buzz is saying, do you have any downtime as a medium?
Yeah. Because I still have to, clean my house and do everything like everybody else. But I do have to say the way my brain works now is I'm always feeling like I'm connected here and there at the same time. So it's kind of strange where my brain is in two places at one time, like they're working parallel. So I do feel like I'm always tapped in, but I don't necessarily have to listen, hear, or what, you know what I mean? Pay attention to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a new puppy, so right now my life is about this damn dog eating my house. So yeah, you know, it's weird. It's almost like they just like when you go out to dinner, like Marla was saying, or you go somewhere, it's almost like feels like someone's always knocking at your door and wants to talk to you, and the medium can choose to tap
Open the
in.
door or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. So sometimes I just say, hey guys, I'm busy. I got to take a shower. Leave me alone. So, sometimes we do have to get very direct and very blunt, but it's interesting. Spirit also sends clients to us, which is strange. So, like, sometimes the spirit may come to me a couple days before, and then, a few days later, a week, whatever, the client ends up calling. So, you kind of like are always on call, but you don't have to answer the call.
Right. It's like having caller ID. It's like some phone calls you don't want to pick up. So
Yeah. I mean, some spirits, are a little more persistent, like that one that got in bed with me. That was kind of strange. I've been very lucky. My journey's been very beautiful with archangels, Jesus, the divine light beings or whatever. Some mediums or some people that tap in that don't even work, experience some other things. I've only had that one kind of creepy thing ever happen, and that's when the client spirit decided to get in bed with me, and I could feel him laying next to me and hugging me, and I was going to be very serious, and I threw my covers up, jumped up, and I'm like, get the hell out of my house, because that's going past my boundaries big time. Getting in bed with me, seriously? No, you're not doing that. So you do have to get I mean, to me, they're people. So you can talk to them just like regular people. Would you let a stranger walk in your front door? Right?
right. And get into bed with you.
Yeah, right? I mean, that one, that was the only bad scare. It wasn't even scary, but it was definitely one that I'll never forget, and I knew he didn't leave after, and he was a bad guy in real life. So I guess he liked me, but yeah, I'm not playing that game.
And speaking of bad guys, so I knew a psychic when Ghost came out. She had said to me, she goes, those scenes when the bad guys die and those black energies come and they take you away. She said, that's sort of like what it's like for the bad guys. The guys who do bad things are
Yeah.
sort of guided by somebody who's different than, let's say, Mother Teresa, or somebody who's been benevolent and of service forever.
Yeah. I also set the intention. I guess my boundary would be, I always say I will not talk to negative energies, entities, anything that goes by any other name. I do like an opening prayer. I put the archangels around me, like in front of me and the sides of me, behind me, and I call on my divine light team. And I'm just like, for myself, my rule is I'm not talking to any negative energies, entities. I don't want to play in that realm.
Right.
I'm not going to.
And I don't blame you. You know what? I'm going to address Christine a second because I'm feeling that Benjamin, he is with you and his teenagers a lot. And if you ask him for, he's saying that he sees a lot, he hears a lot, he's there a lot. But he says, and you guys need to get out of your head so that you can know my presence.
Can I ask this? Who is this for?
Christine.
Was she recently looking at his photo, or is there a photo in front of her or near her right now?
I don't know.
Well,
Christine, can you answer that question?
She's still here. Maybe she'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
And I just feel like she's constantly thinking of him. And the kids are going to be all right.
Yeah, but I think he wants them to know that he's there often and that.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is put those goddamn devices down and pay attention because he's trying to communicate. So
Yeah,
that's just what he said.
I haven't seen her comment. Maybe, I don't know if she's
She
sick or.
hasn't commented yet. She may not be here, but so we'll just
He
leave it
said,
as is till she responds or not.
oh, well, somebody just, oh, that was Bridget, I think. Put that
Okay.
or you put that there. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, so we're going to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share what I was hearing and
Mhm.
getting from Ben.
But that would be
And
like the evidential pieces, like, put down the devices. Was she recently looking at the photograph? So that's actually a good thing to bring up is I always like to prove to people that their loved one in spirit is still physically with them. Oh, Christine, so were you recently looking at a photo, sweetie? She may even be holding it right now or something. We'll just wait for her. I just lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
we were talking about,
Oh, the proving the spirits around.
yeah,
So
yeah,
with
that's it.
by me saying like to a client, you have their photo in front of you. You were recently going through the photo album. That's giving evidence and proof that the spirit is around them. So I love spirit to always, and I think spirit enjoys doing it, is to give them something they were doing in that day to prove that their spirit was with them and saw what they were doing in that day. Whether that be, hey, you cooked an apple pie today. The spirit may say, hey, ooh, that apple pie was good or whatever. So that's proving to them that their spirit of their loved one is with them.
Yes, it's true. And, it's like you said, I mean, you could be where you had no interest in making or buying an apple pie and serving it for dessert, but you had some weird premonition, desire to do it. So you do something, you have no understanding why, but then you find out it was one of his favorite desserts or her favorite desserts, and you serve it.
Yeah, or it's just as simple as they're just letting you know they're in the house and watching what you do. Like they might even just say something like, "Oh, you just got out of the shower," just to give you say, "Hey, I'm here,"
And
And
I'm
spirits,
watching.
yeah, and spirits, funny like with a medium. At least for my, like, I can only share my truth comes from my experiences, not other people. That's to me is my, truth. Spirit will, like, I don't even know what's happening. I'll be driving my car, and I think I've shared this story before, but like I wanted to turn right and I turned left. And I'm like, after I turned left, I'm like, what the hell did I just do? What did I turn left? They can really influence you to go places. And then I showed up at a bank. The lady was the manager of the bank was there. She never helps customers. She greeted me. It was her birthday. Her dead brother was coming through to say happy birthday. So he guided me to go there at that exact moment instead of me going to the right and do my other errand first. So now that spirit, that lady is not someone I know. She wasn't a client, but that spirit probably decided, hey, this medium lives close. She needs to go to that bank. And the spirit got me there. So it's really
Yes.
funny how that can work,
Yes. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. It's so true how that works
I
and
mean, we're here
how,
to serve, we're here to serve. Again, the boundary it's up to the individual how much you want to serve, you know?
right. I mean, well, the whole point of being a metaphysician, whether you're a psychic medium, a healer, or in any other realm, is to be of service, to help people with their journey, whether it's
Yep.
healing, supporting, giving information. And I know that I personally, in my daily prayer say, thank you for, I greet you and thank you for, I'm going to make my promise to walk in love, light, and service
That's it.
because, but I only make, what I've learned is I only make daily promises. That way it doesn't turn into like a vow or something. Um,
Yeah, I see that. We'll let you know, hon, Kathleen.
um, but yeah,
Well, I mean, you also, people have to remember also, what it is, Marla, is we're still a human being. We still have children, teenagers, crazy puppies, things that we have to deal with. Some mediums do this stuff only at night or weekends and have a full-time job. So it's very critical when you do this work to keep that balance, between, actually, I was just telling someone this morning. So many people get so airy fairy, love and light, which is fine. And I think everybody in the beginning of their journey gets like that, myself included. But then it's like, if you always keep like your awareness up here, you might as well be dead and go be a spirit and live in the divine. Because you know what? We're a spirit living in a human body, right? We
Yeah.
also are here to have the human experiences, the human relationships, and whatever. And as a medium or a healer or whoever, we're also here to serve. But it's really critical, I think, if anyone's just learning how to do this or, delving more into it. Yes, it's fun to be out here, but you could get cuckoo. So you really got to keep the balance between the human and the spirit realm,
You need to ground. You need to ground on a daily basis. And
Yeah.
here's the thing about grounding. It helps you get clear, clean, concise information when you're, fully balanced and grounded. So yes, you can be up here and down there. So above is below,
Right.
and take from both cosmic energy, earth energy to help you on receive and share messages.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta, if you don't keep yourself balanced, I just don't feel your messages will be maybe as clear. The clarity's not there. You don't want your physical health or your mental or emotional, state to be affected. So you do have to, I really always tell people too, Marla knows I'm more out of the box. I'm a true believer in master yourself. So my journey started up, in my middle 40s. I just woke up in medium one day and Archangel came and hugged me and I could just do it. So the way I learned is just, I mastered myself. Granted, taking classes, workshops definitely helps, but you got to practice, practice, practice if you want to do this work. That's going to teach you how to do it better. You're going to learn how you work. You're going to learn how spirit works with you. You're going to get the confidence. Your messages are going to get better, and you can be really consistent in the work that we do that way.
It's true. By the way, I want to address Kathy real quick and say, Kathy, your father is around your grandchildren a lot. You should ask them if they see him or play with him, because I truly am feeling and hearing that he just has a great time with them and he's watching them grow. So I hope that helps.
And Christine, I can't remember what I said to you, but I know you said you had a bad chest pain. So yeah, so pay attention to that. Sometimes that could be someone that, I don't know what happened to your child, but it can be someone that had a heart attack, someone that could have been shot in the chest, anything like that. What else did she write? Had a bad chest. Also, think of your mom, your dad, or anybody else in spirit too. Because I know, like, when somebody comes to me that had a chest injury, I have been doubled over where I'm like, oh God, this person had a heart attack, So yeah, I'm glad you're paying attention to your body, sweetie. That's really important.
Yeah. And do you know how he passed away, Christine? That would be a question to see if.
Yeah, because she wrote she just felt a bad chest pain.
Right. So I'm curious to see if
what
he
the injury was.
died from a heart attack.
And actually, Christine, you're talking to him over and over and over. And sorry, when I close my eyes, I kind of trance out. I'm getting the message. And I feel like you're always talking to him and saying, like, I want to hear you. Send me a sign, send me a message. Is there anything with a bedroom or a back bedroom in your house, Christine? I guess we just have to wait for her to.
Right here, it didn't come back. So.
Well, it'll keep coming, but I am hearing that. I think his name was Benjamin, right? He is more than okay, and he's saying you're doing a wonderful job, with his children. But also take the rest that you need for yourself sometime, because I feel like maybe you need a little help too.
Yeah.
Is there a little girl? Is there a daughter? I see a younger daughter or girl. Yeah, we'll just wait for her. Anyway. But I actually feel like, that trauma, and even the way the world is right now is causing or creating more people to have spiritual awakenings and are starting to find out they're gifted. My opinion is we're all born psychic. We're all born mediums. Jesus said we could all do what he did. He was a healer. He was a psychic. He was a medium, prophet, whatever. And we are, we're all a soul, right? And we all have these capabilities. Some people are just better at it than others, just like some people can cut their kids' hair but not be a hairdresser, right?
Right.
Or maybe sometimes, like, I feel with myself, with my gifts opening up when they opened up. I was not spiritual before I did this at all. I wasn't seeking anything. I was just living life.
I have a quick question. How did your family react to you when all of a sudden your gifts started opening and you started sharing information to them about them, having different kind of fears because of what you were getting when they were leaving the house to go out with their friends?
Well, having young teenagers at the time, that was pretty funny. I have 2 kids. Uh, they're like, "Are you batshit crazy?" They're like, "Mom, nobody can talk to dead people. It's not real." And then obviously I started working, and one of my children, they're like, "Wait a minute, you really can do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's real." And then one time he had his friends over, and they were teenagers, and I think they lied to me where they were going. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm just making up the name now. I'm like, "Who's Troy? Who's Mark?" All the 5 boys turned and looked at me, and they're like, they call me Cher. They're like, "Cher, why did you just say that?" I'm like, "Don't ask me. It just popped in my head." They're like, "Yeah, that's where we're going." I'm like, "See, spirit just narked you out, you know?" So I had they're all boys, and they would be at my house. And one kid, I said to him out of nowhere, "Hey, be careful." Or I said, "If you're ever going to get in a fight, walk away." In the next 24 hours, he got in a fight. He did not walk away. So sometimes guidance would come out. So, you know, my kids now believe in what I do. They've seen me do my work for how many years now? Their friends all believe it. And so just even sharing my stories or what you're doing here, Marla, thank you, is opening other people's minds and perspective, you know? And if anyone's listening that is a skeptic, that's fine. I mean, I don't care if anyone believes what I do, but just keep your mind open enough, because maybe you yourself would have a amazing aha moment or experience.
Exactly. What I say to people who are skeptics, I like skeptics. Come on in.
Hmm.
Come to, I'll work with you. But if someone says, I don't believe in what you do, I say,
I
that's
don't care.
fine. Save your time and money, save my time. We're all fine. Because if your mind is closed, there's no way anything is going to absorb into your mind or a belief system
Yeah, your
to have you
consciousness won't
change.
evolve, you know?
Right.
And some people are just very logical, but I have had, oh shoot, my phone, hold on. How do I stop my phone? Okay. I have a new phone. I don't know how to work it. Well, yeah, and I kind of welcome skeptics. There's always a skeptic in an audience at an event. And even on the one I did last Saturday, I'm like, "Okay, who's the skeptic here?" There's always one. It's always a man. I don't know why. And the guy puts his hand up. I'm like, "I'm sure Spirit's going to get you tonight." Sure enough, his dad came through. He's a Chicago cop. And I'm like, "Oh, the dad's showing me like you just were cleaning his gun and all this, and you have his badge." And the man was like, I'm like, so he left a believer. Okay. Now, if he wants to choose to entertain it or not, doesn't, I don't care. That's up to him.
Right.
But just have an open mind. Like, people ask me, like, weren't you scared when this started? Because I didn't know I was gifted. It just, Archangel Michael came and hugged me, and all the dreams and prophetic dreams and messages I would get and the teachings. And I just have a really kind of fun personality, or I'm outgoing. So I'm like, no, this stuff's fun. I loved it. And I do believe it was my soul's mission to come here and do this, now that obviously I know. But don't be scared, you guys. So many people think their houses are haunted, right? It's probably
Mm-hmm.
your dead mom or dad or your grandparent. So don't always go like, I am not fearful, and I never have been of this.
Right.
Fear is very negative, right? Like, fear is very low, love is very high. Don't be afraid. Sure, question it, have discernment, 100%. But you hold the power, and you're just as powerful. They got to listen to you. It's your home. It's huge to stand in your own power. And that's with spirit and regular people, right?
It's so true. You know what? You know I've studied paranormal.
Hmm.
Um, I don't even know, a class in paranormal to do ghost hunting and seeing ghosts and all that stuff. So I bought a mini camera, an infrared action. It's actually, it starts when it sees energy or when it feels movement.
Okay.
And so the other night, the first night Gary was gone, I plugged it in my family room, closed the door, turned out all the lights, and at 11 o'clock, there come orbs sweeping
Yep.
through. And I had to show Gary because he's like, I've never seen this before. Well, those are energetic beings in my home that were benevolent and they were respectful to me. And they were just flying around and showing themselves, which I was so grateful for. that you can also see these energies.
Well, and so much has been proven now with technology, with the cameras, with all the equipment, we have now. Even with mediums, there's been brain scans done of mediums when they're just talking like we're talking and when we're channeling. And it
Right.
is accessing a different area of the brain. I could also recommend, like, I could tell you when my gifts were opening up, inside my head felt very strange. I was feeling like a little electricities and things always in my head for like 6 months and severe headaches. And I'm, the woo-hoo people are like, oh my God, the angels are working on you. No, what it was actually, science is meeting spirituality now, and the proof is coming with brain scans and all these other things like Dr. Joe Dispenza's work and other
Right.
guys. And it was actually new neural pathway connections being made in my head. Because you always hear we only use like what, 5-10% of our brain, right?
Right.
And I could actually physically feel in my head when, we have the left and right side of our brain. I actually could feel when they merge together. And now I can actually physically feel that I'm operating from the center. It sounds goofy, but
It happens.
yeah, I mean,
And
it's,
this is your connection. This is how you connect.
yeah.
And we're
And
talking about the day in the life of the medium.
yeah, it's, like I said, people just need to pay attention. And regarding the boundaries, everything to me in this work, psychic mediumship work, because I do psychic work too, it's your intention. When I open up, some people are big on the bubble of white light and the protection and all that. Anything works as long as you believe it. It's your intention. My thing is, I put the archangels around me. But I also don't even feel I need protection at this point. My vibrations are very high. But if somebody wants to do this work and they believe in, the protection work, 100% do it. It's whatever you believe in works. If you think this glass is going to protect you because it's sitting in front of you, it will, So it really is your belief in what works.
And intention. So I'm going to stop here a quick second because it's charity shout out time. So if you know the podcast, you know that every week we do a charity that we want to highlight for you to hopefully be interested in supporting in whatever capacity you can. So Sheri, you have actually two. One of them we sort of mentioned early in the show,
Yeah.
and then the second one. So I'll let you talk about both of them.
Well, I think that obviously with what's going on in the world with Ukraine, they obviously could use our financial help, right? So, or,
Energetic help.
yeah, definitely you guys, prayers work. So definitely pray for peace. And if you want to
Safety.
make a donation, physical, or it could even be clothing, whatever, to Ukraine, whatever, charity you find that's reputable. I don't know if it's Red Cross or whichever one. I'm a dog lover. I'm an animal lover. So we have a shelter called Paws of Chicago, in Chicago. So obviously the shelters and it could be any of your local shelters, guys, wherever your heart is and what's local to you is fine too. So I'm always about helping the less fortunate. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Thank you.
And even if it's $1, it doesn't have to be $1,000, even to the shelters, a little blanket that's at your house would help them, help the puppies,
Absolutely. Blankets, towels, newspapers.
dog food, whatever. Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Christine mentioned, did you see that?
No, it was unknown on the death certificate. Yes, his one daughter sleeps in there. Yes, two younger girls also.
So, because I had said there's something about the back bedroom and a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So, sweetie, Christine, they gave us that, he gave me that example probably to give you that to show you he's in your home. He knows where the children are sleeping. Again, it's evidential to prove to you he's in the house. So please, sweetie, know that he loves you. Thank you. Oh, sorry. When I say thank you, I'm talking up there. He's so grateful to you for stepping in and being there for his children. And I want to say too, he did not suffer as much as you think, and that he's more than fine and he's at peace, sweetie. So hopefully that helps Christine.
Thanks, Sheri.
You're welcome.
We'll wait for her to respond.
That's okay.
So I first want to tell everybody, not first, but check out Sheri's website at sherithemedium.com. You can email her at sherijewelmedium@yahoo.com. Check her out. Sign up for sessions. Have a gallery party for your family members. You
And we
know
can
what?
do it on
They're
Zoom
lots
now.
of fun. Yeah, you can do them on Zoom. You can do it locally, not locally, remotely, because here's the secret. There is no space and time for spirit, so you can be across the other side of the world and get clear, clean, concise information, just as clear and clean, or even cleaner and clearer than if they were in the room with you.
That is
So,
so true, because everyone, I've had people like, I want to meet you in person. And COVID, obviously, has put a damper on a lot of us communicating in person.
yes.
And people are like, wait a minute, like even like individual readings. I'm like, yeah, I can do it on the phone. They're like, well, how? I'm like, well, the spirit comes to me. Right? And they're like, I go, don't ask me. They find my address, so they're here. But some people do like seeing the in face person thing. So Zoom, obviously with COVID, a lot of businesses, and now we're all using Zoom, really has been instrumental in us communicating with each other throughout the world.
True, and there are a number, just an FYI, of people who do this who don't even want to see the video portion because they don't
Yeah.
want to be distracted by what they're seeing around you.
Well, that's why sometimes I'll just close my eyes. I think I did that here today, like, when I'm doing
Right.
film. Because if I look at the person, like if I'm looking at you, Marla, right now, it's going to make me probably go more psychic. So sometimes if I'm with a person, I have to close my eyes, or I'll just turn my head. And I'm like, I'm not being rude, you guys, but I just have to it's a way of keeping my brain in the right zone
Right.
to receive the information.
And it's like what you've said about other mediums and psychic mediums who, like that Tyler Henry, he scribbles on paper
Yeah,
to get himself out of his head.
exactly.
Some
I
people
used to
play
hold the
with
crystal at the beginning.
rings.
Yeah, I've seen guys on stage, and I'm not going to say names, but they're well known, and they'll have their hands together, or they'll be just like doing this. At the very beginning, when I used to rub a crystal, but it could have been a penny, anything, because you're giving the mind something to do, and then the information can come into our brains easier.
Right. It
So you will
keeps
see a
you
lot
out
of
of your
mediums.
head.
Exactly. And I doodle, and I automatic write too. Like if I'm doing a client, I'd have a paper and pen here, and I'd write like a dead person's name down, or I'll draw a house or whatever. So yeah, so that's the thing. And mediums, you two at home can do this. You can learn the little, again, going back to mastering yourself. You can learn these little tricks that we all do to get our brain in the right state.
And nuances to know how your body's feeling when you're receiving. So you know that, like you said, your ear hums. Well,
Mhm.
you didn't know that your ear hummed when you got information at the beginning, but
Right.
it's through ongoing learning
Development.
and growing and expansion. Yes, that, this is one of your tells.
Yeah, and we call that a calling card medium. So at the beginning, it felt like I had a hole in the top of my head, and I felt like little light bulbs, like Christmas lights going around my crown. It feels like someone took a top off a pot. Um, and that still can happen sometimes, but now it's switched into the right ear humming. So that's just me, or my ear will ring. So it's just like, okay, sure, pay attention. I'm here, and I can
Exactly.
choose to or not.
It makes a huge difference. It makes an absolute huge difference.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the life and day of a medium that I haven't brought up that you'd like to put a spotlight on?
Um, you know, it's just so funny with mediumship because everybody's so different. Um, I think I'm just very casual. So can I say really no? It's just, again, make your bedroom off limits. Some people will shield. So being a really strong empath, you could go out and be at, I don't know, Nordstrom's, right? You could be at Macy's shopping, and we pick up other people's energy. So sometimes if I feel that I'm too sensitive that day, or I just don't feel like something could happen, I'll imagine like shielding myself. So you can shield yourself. I'll imagine like Archangel Michael's shield. I'll put my hand out and grab the shield and put it over my torso. If I really feel, even with my work, if I feel I'm in a sketchy situation, I imagine putting on the knight in shining armor suit, even the hat. You could pull a board in front of you, whatever you want to do. So if you guys are empathic, cover up your solar plexus, your torso with your hands, your purse, anything. So, but I'm really against people that always come from a fear-based thing, because I've never come from the fear-based, and some people do, or some people, that's their journey, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
is fine. I, again, just like to stand in my power and say, hey, if I feel someone, I'm like, just go. It's like, I mean, again, do what works for you. Whatever you can imagine. Some people are ritualistic. Some cultures are more rituals, right? Some people
Absolutely.
keep crystals in their pocket or black tourmaline, whatever you think, whatever you believe in will work. I think that's just critical. And like I said, in my house every day, oh yeah, there's spirit here. I choose to ignore it or I tell it to go. Some people say it's your houses, you know. Um, I have asthma, so I don't. But you could spray holy water in the corners. I'll say like the Our Father prayer before a reading, because to me that prayer is universal. So there's all kinds.
Tuning forks work. Chimes work.
Yeah.
And
Again, though,
clearing
it's also
clear
the
space.
attention, and it's the
Right.
attention with it, though. You know what I mean?
Right. If you don't put the intention and you just, smudge or, hit your tuning fork, it will clear some stuff, but it's not as thorough
Yeah,
as if you were setting your attention along with it.
exactly. And you know, I just think more and more people are going to be opening up, and I think it's great that you have conversations with people like me, because I think this is going to happen to more and more people, and we don't want to be afraid. It's a natural ability of your soul, of who we are, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, trauma, depression, grief, all these things do can be a precursor to opening up, because you break open your heart to get to your soul. I mean, that's what happened to me. So
Me too. And
it's a very common theme with mediums where we went through something. But think about it though. If you didn't go through that, you wouldn't be compassionate to anybody. You wouldn't have non-judgment. You wouldn't have any wisdom if you didn't go through your own crap.
you wouldn't be able to help people because you
You wouldn't
don't
be
know.
empathic.
Right.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know how to help them.
Mhm.
When you go through your own stuff, you have an idea of what they're feeling. Like you said, you can empathize with them and then help them accordingly because
Yeah.
you know what you've done. Oh, thank you, Sheri.
And she spells her name like me. Nobody. But yeah, I
Very
mean, 'cause
few.
if you think of like, AA, right? The alcoholics have a sponsor.
Right.
Why don't they have a psychologist do it? I mean, I'm sure they have that on the side, but because the sponsor knows what they had to do to heal themselves. So one of the messages that I received in my sleep was healer, heal yourself. Okay. So as a medium, I think that would be part of daily life that we should talk about is we have to do our own inner work. Prayer,
Yes.
meditation, deal with your shadow side, deal with your shit. You're still a human being. You're not perfect.
What are your rituals before you start? Do you have one? I don't know. Some people do it before they start their day as they're waking up, or they move their rituals into I get up, I go to the bathroom, I drink my coffee, and then I do my rituals, or whatever it might be. What is
Oh, thank you, Sheri.
Thank you, Sheri.
I am not a big person on rituals. Many mediums, I'm sure, are. Right now, I wake up, I gotta go to the bathroom. That's my first thing I'm doing. That's my ritual. And then I got a puppy. That's the next thing. Yeah, but metaphysically, do I have really any rituals? No. At the beginning, or for quite a few years, I used to meditate daily, and all that kind of stuff go within. My life's a little busier right now with work and things I have to do. So I have to say I don't have a daily ritual. Most people do, but I do think meditation and prayer are important to me. So I definitely before I go to bed at night, I guess would say, hey God, please send, help over to Ukraine, right? In the way how to bring peace, stop who from doing what he's doing, right? Um, but it's just praying on behalf of others. That's called intercessional prayer. And that is a message I got in my sleep one time. So, just pray for send love out, or I'll imagine like a globe of the earth, and I'll imagine wrapping my arms around it and just holding it and sending it love. So and I always say, for plants, animals, the animal kingdom, people, Mother Earth, all of that. So I guess prayer and meditation, if I'm going to do anything, it would be those two things.
Right.
But like I said, some people have very rigid things, which is fine. Whatever works for you.
Right, exactly. Like for me, I have to have my gratitude. My prayer practice and my gratitude is part of it, but it encompasses, and that to me is a great way to start a day. But to make sure that you show that you're thankful,
Gratitude is
that you're
huge. Yes.
huge. Yeah.
Oh God, thank you, Christine. That's so sweet. Help the doggies. Or there's cats there too. Well, actually, you brought up a big thing. Gratitude was a huge part of my journey. Every time you guys pay attention to numbers, 111. If I see 1111 or
Right.
5555, whatever, I just kind of point up the sky. I'm like, yeah, thank you. or I'm very grateful for my gifts and my ability and the opportunities and the people that come into my life, or I live in synchronicity, which I absolutely love. So when you guys get like aligned, synchronicity starts and it's so cool. You don't have to think out your day. The people, the places, the opportunities, geez, the internet is like amazing. The people that come and the spirit like guided me to you. I can't tell you how many times, oh my God, there are people tell me my spirits in their dreams. And because, our spirit can, our living spirit can
Well,
go around places.
we travel.
Yes, we
Our
travel.
spirit travels when we sleep.
Well, mine seems to do it in the day too.
Oh,
I'm like
good
always
for
like thinking,
you.
people have seen me in California, in Michigan, and there's proof of it. I'm like, what the hell? Why isn't my spirit staying in my own body, right? But yeah, so we are connected. It's oneness. We are connected to everything. So yes, when you pray, it's going to the collective, right?
Yes, it
All our
is.
thoughts, if everyone's thinking that we're all divided with politics or, cultures, whatever, we're going to keep the division going.
Well, it lowers the vibration, it lowers the frequencies,
Mhm.
so it keeps it going. But if we raise it through prayer, gratitude, meditation,
Positive
being
thoughts.
of service, positive thoughts, singing, dancing.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
our thoughts, I mean, that I did have a trippy experience once where I was asleep. And at the time, my gifts, I can't remember, it was maybe 5 years ago or so. And I'm like, I want my gifts to be stronger. I want to hear even clearer. I want to hear them like they're just next to me like a person.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. You know what they did to me? They're like, really, Cher? Do you really want that? I was sleeping and I heard this lady, well, actually, I heard a teenager talking, clear as a bell. And she was on the phone with her friend. I could hear, oh, yeah, my mom is okay. She's okay with what I'm going to do. And I'm like, who is she? Like, who's talking on the phone, And then I heard another voice, another voice, and another voice. My dreams are very like lucid and very real and engaging. Eventually, it was like Charlie Brown with the wah, wah, wah teacher. It sounded like a million people I was talking to, and then their voices all got drowned out. Scared me so much. I woke up and I screamed, get out of here. I thought there was like a million dead people in my room, right? Well, sorry, guys, I've been sick. When I woke up and got my head on, I realized I tapped into the collective. So again, my truth only comes from my experiences, right? So I know for sure there is a collective thought, and all our conversations, this girl was on the phone talking to the teenager, whatever, it's all going up there. It's all blending together. So if all we talk about is negativity, people suck, wars, all that, we're creating it. So guys, go for peace, love, joy, you know,
Go
everyone to
for
be
the high
happy
vibe.
yeah, people don't
Sheri,
realize it.
hate to cut you off. Love you dearly,
I love
but the
you.
time is coming to a fast close.
Well, that went
So
fast.
I know. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for being on the show again and being a part of this and sharing your information and what it's like to be a day in one of your life,
Yeah.
a day in your life. I'm trying to see if I'm screwing that up again. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're
Please
welcome.
check out Sheri at sherrythemedium.com. See how she can work with you. Maybe arrange for, like I said, a session or maybe a party with your friends or put together your own gallery. And the gallery only means more than one. It could be 5, it could be 10, it could be 20
Yeah.
people in the room. So don't worry that you don't understand what it means when we talk about the gallery reading. I mean, Sheri, or the medium, is able to decipher through the information the process, and it comes to the person it belongs to. So check her out. I want to say thank you to Bridget for everything you do. My right hand, my left hand. Oh my God. I'm so grateful for you being in my life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to thank you, the listening audience, and you who came on live with us today. Thank you so much. I am so grateful that you've taken time out of your day, out of your life, to be a part of the show, to share some of your information, your questions. So grateful because I do this and have created this with you in mind because I want to bring you amazing people like Sheri and what their abilities are and how they can help you work with you or somebody you know. So thank you very much. I'm going to say again, please send prayers, support, love to the people of Ukraine, to the neighboring countries. If you can donate money or donate goods, please send them to them. And here's a surprising thing. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. Send love to Putin, because anybody that heinous needs love.
I did it.
Anybody who's that damaged needs love. So please, please send your love. Hi, Skylar.
That is true. I did the Ho'oponopono prayer to Putin.
Yeah. And Ho'oponopono is a Hawaii forgiveness process. So if you don't know what it is, please look it up. Joe Vitale teaches it, but it's a powerful, powerful practice. Next week, my guest is Michael Andre Ford, and he is an angel intuitive. So, but he's an angel intuitive that's different than the ones that have been on before. So please tune in next Thursday. Until then, as always, I send you love, blessings, and gratitude. Grateful that you're in my life in whatever capacity you're in it. And I'm going to say these words again. I love you. I love you. I love you. You are loved and you are never alone. Also, if you have a need, a desire, want support, help in something, call out to your angels, guides, guardians, ascended masters. Tell them what you need. Ask them for your help, because they don't have the free will to just intervene. They can sit and watch you make these mistakes over and over and over again. But until you say, help me, they can't do anything. It's against spiritual law. So no, you need to ask. Okay. Well, until next week. Stay well, stay happy. Thank you, Sheri.
God
Love
bless
you.
everybody. Bye, guys.
God
Take
bless.